In the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton was the surprise driver to fall in Q2. It was his last qualifying session with the Mercedes W14 car, which wasn't very popular. After practice on Friday, Hamilton said that making it to Q3 on Saturday would be a big accomplishment, and he ended up 11th in the second qualifying segment. Hamilton moved up to 10th place on his last lap in the last few seconds of Q2, but he was back in the drop zone after Russell moved up to 4th. "There's something wrong with this car, mate," Hamilton was heard telling his race engineer Peter Bonington after he was officially out of the race. Hamilton had been clearly less at ease than Russell all weekend. Hamilton is in a tough spot for the season finale because he was in the middle of a mini F1 storm before Abu Dhabi. That's because Christian Horner, the head of the Red Bull team, said that the 7-time world champion had talked to him and Ferrari about leaving Mercedes for 2024. According to Horner, Hamilton's people called Red Bull to talk about a huge partnership with Max Verstappen. They have reached out a few times. Most recently, earlier in the year, there was an inquiry about whether there would be any interest. But I can't see Max and Lewis working out together. The dynamic wouldn't be right. We are 100% happy with what we have. This year, Horner also said that Hamilton and Ferrari were in serious talks. It was even said that talks might still be going on as late as May. He added, he met John Elkann, Ferrari chairman, too. I think there were serious talks. It was around Monaco, in May. There were definitely conversations, perhaps with Vasseur too, but certainly with Elkann. Things can change quickly in the driver market though, and Hamilton would never want to shut the door too soon. If there was a Red Bull drive planned, it would be something to think about, so you check. If nothing else, it might help you get what you want in a deal. It's always been that way with this game. The truth is that a top driver called a rival while thinking about what to do next. It's happened before and will happen again, but this story doesn't seem likely now that Hamilton has signed a 2-year deal with Mercedes. Not yet, anyway. From the other side, it has been confirmed that Lewis Hamilton did not talk to Red Bull about a possible switch to the team early this year. Which part of the story is real? Hamilton denied Horner's claims in an interview with Sky Sports at the Yas Marina circuit. "I don't really know where that story has come from," Hamilton said. "I know it's come from Christian. I don't really understand what he's been talking about. No one, as far as I'm aware from my team, has spoken to him. I haven't spoken to Christian in years." However, he did reach out to me earlier in the year about meeting up, Hamilton added. "I just congratulated them on an amazing year. I said hopefully soon I'll be able to fight against you guys in the near future. That was it. So I'm not really sure. I think he's just stirring things. There aren't any confidential discussions, so I don't know. You know Christian, he loves that kind of stuff." Hamilton says that Horner often says things like this, but the Brit says again that there have been no talks about a switch. The 7-time champion also says that if the chance came up to race against teammate Max Verstappen, Hamilton would not say no. 100% would be more than happy to race against him in an equal car. For me, Red Bull has done an amazing job, and it is an incredible team. And any driver would love to drive for such a great group of people. I think moving from a car that's not so great to a winning car, from my perspective, that's not a dream. The dream is always to start where we kind of are and build up to then winning, and that's why I've stayed with Mercedes. I did tell Toto, especially when the story obviously broke, just because I have so much respect for Toto. We have a great relationship. Also wanted my team to know because people think those things and it's never positive. Initially, I just replied to him on my new phone. It was after a weekend, I can't remember, but it was quite late on that I found the message. But it was from earlier on in the year, so it was like months later. When the news came out and Hamilton said he wouldn't mind racing Max Verstappen in the same car, the world champion was asked the same thing. Would Verstappen like to race against the 7-time winner in the same car? What would it add to know? I don't know, but it's not happening. There's no point in making up stories if it's not happening. I wouldn't mind, it doesn't matter to anyone. I don't want to put it like now, particularly on Lewis. There are so many great drivers as well, so sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. When Toto Wolff met with a small group of reporters in Abu Dhabi on Thursday, he was shocked by what was going on. "I just don't know what drives the guy," he said. "We don't understand his thinking to come up with these things. What happened is that Christian, through an agency that we work with, wanted to have his contact details, to speak about the seat. That's how the whole thing went. It was Christian inquiring into his availability. Lewis had an exchange with Christian, which he immediately told me about, which was not about a seat, but it was just blah. I've seen it. So I don't know what drives him to come out with this. You've won the season. Be happy about it. Be humble. Enjoy it. Don't make comments about Abu Dhabi 2021, which are completely off the mark, Wolff sighed. I just wonder what's going on up there. Wolff was talking about what Horner said last week on Sky's A League of Their Own. In that interview, he talked about the race where Max Verstappen won his first title because of a controversial call made by Michael Masi, who was the FIA race director at the time. I mean Mercedes, Horner had said. They left poor Lewis out there on tyres that had done pretty much most of the race, and we pitted with Max so he was on a fresh set of tyres. Max made the move, and the interesting thing was, where Max passed him, it caught Lewis completely by surprise. Helmut Marko is sure that Lewis Hamilton gave his team's contact person, reportedly his father, permission to talk to Red Bull. Marko says that Hamilton even asked for the same car as Max Verstappen. Marko thinks the driver allowed it because the person who went up to Red Bull had a condition. I can only say that Christian Horner told me in January about a text message he received from Hamilton's entourage, Marko said to F1insider.com. It seemed authorized by the driver, especially because there was talk of a condition that Hamilton set. He only wanted to drive for Red Bull if he got the same material as Max Verstappen. For me at least, there was no doubt that the request from the Hamilton side was serious. But Red Bull wasn't willing to let Hamilton join Max Verstappen's team. Marko said that the main two reasons were money and not wanting two alphas to work together. There were never any considerations about letting Hamilton drive alongside Verstappen, he explained. Firstly, we are well positioned with our driver squad, including Sergio Perez. Second, these two alphas wouldn't work on a team. And thirdly, the most important point, Red Bull cannot afford the two most expensive Formula One drivers together. But I can understand that a driver like Hamilton wants to drive in a team that promises the greatest success. Can Red Bull get two alphas? In the past few years, teams have done that. Hamilton and Nico Rosberg are the most well-known examples. Toto Wolff said that he doesn't want that to happen again because it was too bad. It's bad for the teams that two of the best drivers are racing in the same cars. Fans may want it that way. Neither team wants its drivers to take points away from each other. These things were done by Hamilton and Fernando Alonso at McLaren in 2007. They took each other's points, but Kimi Raikkonen beat them by 1 point to win the world title. It can also split the team in half and put garages against each other. Not many people think of Perez as the second best driver, but Red Bull also doesn't want anyone to beat Verstappen. How do you feel about this? Does Lewis Hamilton have any chance to join the Red Bull team with Max? Please let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching our video. To make sure you don't miss any future updates, make sure you click the subscribe button beneath the video.